Hello, everyone. My name is Cherie, and welcome to my channel, Cherie's Explains. And today I want to talk about hospital indemnity insurance, what it is, what it covers, and why claims get denied. What every employee should know before filing a claim. And why I'm making this video, I work in insurance claims. I see some of the confusion every day. Many people assume they're covered and then their claim gets denied. And it's one of the most common calls I take throughout my day. Someone went to the emergency room. They have hospital indemnity insurance through their employer. Money has been coming out of their paycheck for months, and now they're calling because their claim was denied. When I explain why, they're shocked every single time. So today, I want to explain what hospital indemnity insurance actually is, what it covers, and what it doesn't cover, and how to avoid the mistakes that lead to denied claims. What you learn by the end of this presentation, you'll know exactly how hospital indemnity insurance works, what actually triggers a payout, and what common misunderstandings cause claims to be denied before they even be reviewed. Okay? And what is hospital indemnity insurance? Hospital indemnity insurance is supplemental insurance. That means it is completely separate from your regular health insurance. It isn't your medical coverage. It doesn't pay your doctors or the hospital. Instead, when you experience a covered event and your claim is approved, the insurance company pays cash directly to you. One of the biggest advantages of hospital indemnity insurance is flexibility. Once the benefit is paid, it's your money. You can use it towards deductibles, co-pays, prescriptions, rent, grocery, childcare while you're recovering, or any other expense. There are no restrictions on how you spend the benefit. Here's something most people never heard during open enrollment. Hospital indemnity insurance is officially classified as limited benefit product. The word is important, limited. It was never intended to replace health insurance. It exists to help cover the out of pocket expenses your primary medical insurance leaves behind. Most employer plans offer two options, a low plan and a high plan. The option you selected during open enrollment determines how much money you receive if you have a covered claim. Many people don't realize this until they actually file a claim. Let's look at that example. Under a low plan, someone who is admitted to the hospital might receive a $500 admission benefit and then $100 per day while hospitalized. Under the high plan, those benefits typically double. As you can see on the slide, the initial benefit stay for a high plan is $1,000 and the daily benefit is $200 per day. So that's the difference. It just determines on the amount of payout. And then there's also ICU benefits, and they are typically much higher because intensive care involves greater medical needs. Again, your actual benefit amount depends entirely on your plan you selected during open enrollment. As you can see, with the low plan for ICU, it's $1,000 for the initial stay plus $200 a day each additional day. For the high plan, you may get $2,000 a day for the initial stay plus $400 a day for each day spent there. So these are just examples. And imagine a 3-day hospital stay that doesn't involve the ICU. On the low plan, someone could receive about $800. On the high plan, that same hospital stay could pay approximately $1,600. Same employer, same hospital stay. The only difference is the plan selected during open enrollment. As you can see here, there's the difference. Just the payout difference on whatever you select on open enrollment. Now let's talk about the biggest misunderstanding I hear every day. Many people don't believe that simply going to the emergency room automatically qualifies them for a hospital indemnity payment. Unfortunately, that's not how this plan works. So on the next slide, I want to show you some examples of what you would see during open enrollment. And usually these will be like pamphlets, um, brochures that they'll show you when you're trying to select coverage for during open enrollment, and it'll show you the differences. So I just have some um, little flyer that I just created just to show you an idea. So let's take a look. Let me see if I can blow this up some. And you may cannot see this. I'm just trying to blow it up. But on this pamphlet here, it's just showing the different payouts for the low plan versus the high plan. On the hospital stay versus ICU. And this plan is showing how much it would cost that the pay would come out of your paycheck for each plan. It just shows you how much it would charge. They would charge you. Just a little sample flyer that I just made, um, showing you the difference and how much it would be coming out of your pay. Whether or not you just have select for yourself, you and your family, you and your kids. This how much a typical payout will look. Well, a typical depending on how you get paid biweekly or monthly or whatever. This will be coming out of your check. And this is just enrollment information it shows you. So these are like the little flyers that they'll show you during open enrollment and tell you how to enroll. And this is like the exclusions. So sometimes they'll also show you the exclusions. So pay attention to those. That it be on the little flyer. So this is just like a little sample what it would look like. Okay. And so now we're just gonna keep going and talk about why claims get denied, and most employer plans simply visiting the ER or the emergency room isn't enough. You usually must be formally admitted to the hospital as an inpatient. And many plans also require a minimum number of 18 continuous hours before benefits begin. So let's talk about observation. Observation statuses cause a lot of confusion. A patient may spend 1 or even 2 nights in the hospital, receive treatment, and never leave the building or never leave the hospital. But legally, they may still be considered an outpatient. If the policy requires inpatient admission, observation status usually won't qualify for these benefits. I recently spoke with someone who spent 8 hours in the ER and assumed they received a hospital benefit. Unfortunately, they were never admitted as an inpatient, so their claim did not qualify. So they were denied. You have to be an inpatient, and most people don't know that, but you literally have to be admitted as an inpatient for 18 continuous hours. And filing the claim is your responsibility. Here's another mistake I see all the time, and it's completely preventable. Just because you were admitted to a hospital doesn't mean a claim is automatically started on your behalf. Think about it for a second. How would your insurance company even know you were hospitalized? They wouldn't. Your hospital isn't automatically notifying your supplemental insurance company, and your employer isn't doing it either. It's your responsibility to start your claim. Most insurance companies make this pretty easy. You can usually log into your online account and submit a claim, or you could call customer service number on your insurance card and have a representative like me help you get your process started. Once the claim is open, your insurance company may ask you for documentation, such as hospital admission records, discharge paperwork, or even itemized bill. Every company has a slightly different process, but the most important thing is no claim started means no claim can be reviewed. Don't wait and assume someone else is handling it. If you believe you have a covered event, contact your insurance company and start the claim as soon as possible. Here's what the claim process typically looks like. First, you experience a covered event, such as a eligible inpatient admission. Next, you start the claim, either online or by calling the insurance company. If documentation is needed, you submit it for review. The claims team will then verify that your situation meets the requirement of the policy. If everything qualifies, the benefit is approved and the cash payment is sent directly to you. Understanding this process helps set realistic expectations and can make the experience much less stressful if you ever need to file a claim. Filing your claim. One question I get asked a lot is, when should I file my claim? While you could often notify your insurance company that you've been admitted, in most cases it's actually better to file the claim or to file the hospital indemnity claim after you have been discharged from the hospital. And here's why. Once you're discharged, your hospital stay is complete. The insurance company can clearly see your admission dates, discharge dates, and exactly how many days you were admitted into the hospital as an inpatient. Filing after discharge also means you'll usually have the documentation you need to submit your claim. That helps reduce delay because the claims examiner isn't waiting on additional paperwork before they can make a decision. Every insurance company has its own claims process, so always follow your provider's instructions. But having completed information up front generally helps the process move much smoother. So let's talk about documentation because this is another area that causes delays. The insurance company can't simply take your word for it that you were admitted to the hospital. They need documentation to verify that your hospital stay meets the required outline in their policy. Depending on your insurance company and the type of claim you're filing, they may request one of the following documents: admission and discharge paperwork. This paperwork confirms when you were admitted to the hospital, when you were discharged, and often indicated whether your stay was considered inpatient or observation. These dates are extremely important because many hospital indemnity benefits are based on the number of covered inpatient days. Another form that they could ask for is called the explanation of benefits, or EOB. It's a document sent by your primary health insurance company after they process your medical claim. It is not a bill. It explains what medical services were billed, what your health insurance paid, what discounts were applied, and what amount, if any, may be your responsibility. Some hospital indemnity insurance companies may request the EOB as supporting documentation during your claim process. There's another form, it's called the UB04 form, and sometimes referred to, it's called a UB04, but it's also Uniform Billing Form. This is the official billing form hospitals use to bill insurance companies. for inpatient hospital services. The UB04 form contains detailed information about your hospitalization, including admission dates, discharge dates, patient status, diagnostics codes, procedure codes, revenue codes, hospital charges. Because the UB04 contains detailed billing and admission information, many insurance companies use it to verify whether your hospital stay qualifies for benefits underneath your hospital indemnity policy. And then sometimes additional medical records. Occasionally, the claim examiner may need additional medical records if something isn't clear. This could include physician notes, operative notes, emergency room records, or other medical documentation needed to verify eligibility. In many cases, filing after you've been discharged can make the claims process smoother because your hospital stay has ended. Your inpatient days have been finalized, and you often have the documentation needed to support your claim. However, always follow your insurance company's specific claim instructions, as procedures can vary by insurer. One of the easiest ways to avoid delays is to submit a complete claim the first time. Before filing, make sure you're being discharged. Gather all your paperwork and double check that your documents clearly show your admission and discharge dates. If the insurance company requests additional information, try to respond as soon as possible. The faster you receive what they need, the sooner they can continue reviewing your claim. I also recommend that keeping copies of everything you submit. That way, if you ever need to follow up or resubmit documents, you already have them available. Let's talk about something that's completely avoidable: claim delays. A delayed claim doesn't always mean your claim is going to be denied. Many times, it simply means the claim examiner doesn't have enough information to finish reviewing your claim. One of the biggest reasons I see claims delayed is because the documents that were submitted aren't clear enough to read. If your photos are blurry, dark, or out of focus, the examiner may need to be able to verify, may not be able to verify important documents like your admission dates, your discharge dates, or even your name. Another common issue is incomplete paperwork. Sometimes the insurance company sends your forms to complete as part of the claims process. If the forms aren't signed or dated, they usually can't be processed until they're completely completed correctly. If you don't start your claim online, many insurance companies will send you a document often called a notice of hospital indemnity claimant statement or something similar. This form serves several purposes. First, it collects information about your hospital stay. Secondly, it gives you the opportunity to choose how you would like to receive your benefit if your claim is approved. Depending on the insurance company, you may be able to choose direct deposit, a mail check, or another available method of payment. Finally, it requires your signature, which authorizes the insurance company to process your claim. If you forget to sign or date the form, the insurance company will usually have to contact you before they can process the claim. Here's another mistake I see oftentimes. People take screenshots instead of uploading the actual document, and without realizing it, they accidentally cropped out part of the page. Sometimes the patient name is missing. Sometimes the hospital name is also cut off. Sometimes the admission date or discharge date doesn't appear visible. Other times, only half of the document uploads because the picture wasn't taken correctly. Remember, the claims examiner can only review the information that is actually visible. If important information is missing, they'll likely have to request another copy, and that adds more time to your claim. Before you submit anything, take just a minute to review every page. Make sure it's complete, readable, and that there's nothing has been accidentally cut off. Whenever you're in the hospital, ask this simple question: Am I being admitted as an inpatient or am I under observation? That one question can make the difference between an approved claim and a denied one. Even when someone is admitted as an inpatient, there are situations where the policy still won't pay. Common exclusions include injuries related to felonies, alcohol related accidents, certain extreme sports, organized racing, professional athletes, and some incidents occur outside the United States. Every policy is different, so always review your own plan policy. Do not go about what somebody else say. Read your information. Most people never read this section of their policy because it's one of the most important parts. Your claim isn't decided by assumption or what someone remembers hearing during open enrollment. It's decided by the language written in your policy. And I hear this a lot too. I got a coworker and they said that they submitted a claim and they got approved. Why mine didn't get approved? And and they go back and forth, and you have to tell them what they say. Well, you can't always go about what somebody else said. Did you read your policy? Did you you know um see with it all detailed? You just went by hearsay. No, you actually got to read it, because if you don't, I mean, that determines a lot, because you just think, just like when we talked about the ER, the emergency room. Just because you mentioned ER, just the prime example. No, your claim is not going to get approved. Or, well, Sally said that she went to the emergency room. Her claim got approved. No, no, it didn't. It had to be more to it. It had to been a little bit more to it than that. Sally must have been admitted to the hospital too. She left that part out. So read your own stuff. You cannot go by somebody else's word. And did you know that having this benefit also you get some benefits from it. So here's a benefit many people overlook. Some hospital indemnity plans include a wellness screening benefit. That means that you may receive around $50 simply for completing an annual physical or other eligible preventative screenings for the year. No hospitalization is required. It's worth checking your plan because many people never use this benefit. And I have this benefit as well because I also, even though I am a claims representative, I also have hospital indemnity insurance too. While I may have not used the hospital benefit yet, I have it for peace of mind simply because I have kids and you never know if one of them will end up in the hospital or if I will ever end up in the hospital. So I just have it for peace of mind purposes. But I do take advantage of the um, wellness screening benefit because when you go and get your wellness checkup every year, you can file a claim for it. So not only do I get $50 for myself, I get $50 for my son. I have two boys, so I get $50 each for both of them. Because when I take them to go get their screening done, that's another claim for them and each one of them. So that's a total of, let's say, $150 for three of us. Because if you look at, that's just an example. I'm just using the $50 example. Um, I think mine actually is $75, I believe. But it just depends on the company. Some pay $50, some pay $75, and that's a benefit that you could just they'll pay you just from having a wellness screening. So I file my claims for when I have my annual visits once a year for me, my kids, and I get my $150 and I just use it for whatever I want to use it for. So that's a good benefit for having it. Um, Now, I may not ever use the benefit as far as me being admitted to the hospital. I hope that I would never have to use it for being admitted to the hospital, but you never know. So if not, and if I do, I know that I have this coverage on top of my regular medical insurance. I also have this too, so I could get paid for this coverage and use this money for whatever I want, or I could use it to pay what the hospital did what my what my medical insurance did not pay. I could use it for that as well. Just depends on how I want to do it. I could just buy some groceries or whatever I choose to do with it. Um, so let's continue. So before you ever need this insurance, take a few minutes to review your benefits. Find out whether you have the low or high plan, how your policy defines inpatient admissions, how many hours are required, and what your daily benefit amount is. Knowing these answers ahead of time can save you a lot of confusion later. And trust me, if you read it, you'll know it, you'll understand it, and you wouldn't be confused or be calling and, getting upset or what have you. And because hospital stays are expensive. According to MetLife, the average 3-day hospital stay costs around $30,000. Medical debt continues to affect millions of Americans. Hospital indemnity insurance was designed to help reduce some of those financial burdens, but only if you understand how the coverage actually works. It fills that void. So you could, like I say, take that money and pay the difference that your medical insurance did not cover, and that'll, pay that bill. Or, let's say you got kids, and while you're sick, you need someone to watch your kids, like, um, a babysitter or something. You could take that money and pay the babysitter because you're sick, you need help. So that money can help that. It just little things you should think about. Or if say you ain't got no food in your house, take the money and buy some food for your house. It just depends on whatever you want to do with it because we pay directly to you. You decide on how you want to use your money. It's whatever you decide. It's still a benefit that helps, whichever way it goes. And so, since I work in claims, let me leave you with a few tips that can save you time. Always submit clear, readable documents. If you have the option, upload the original PDF instead of taking pictures with your phone. If you do use your phone, make sure the entire page is visible and easy to read. Read every form before submitting it. And don't forget to sign and date any paperwork that requires it. Finally, keep copies of everything you send. If the insurance company has questions later, you already have documents available instead of trying to track down again. These steps can help your claim move through and review process more smoothly. Claims examiners aren't looking for reasons to deny your claim. Their job is to determine whether your claim meets the terms of your policy. The more complete and accurate the information you provide, the faster they can make that decision. And the biggest takeaway I want you to remember is this: hospital indemnity insurance can be an excellent financial safety net, but it only pays according to the terms written in your specific policy. Understanding your coverage before you need it is the best way to avoid unpleasant surprises during an already stressful situation. You already stressed, you don't need any more stress than what you have to. So just remember, don't go about what somebody else said. Read your own policy, submit the proper documentation, and you will already know from the very beginning if you read if you qualify or not. If you know that you were not in the hospital as an inpatient, don't start the claim. That's just a big headache from the beginning. You know that you were just in there and went to the emergency room. You already know that. So why even submit a claim if you know you went to the emergency room? This is emergency room does not qualify. If you know you were not in the hospital for 18 continuous hours as an inpatient, don't start the claim. That's stuff you already know. If you read your policy, you'll know that. If they do admit you, ask them, am I in here for observation or am I in here for, did you admit me as an inpatient? You need to know this because that also determines your payout. Yes, hospitals will do that. They will keep you for 2 to 3 days and you thinking you in there for as an inpatient. They will not code you as an inpatient. That's because they're trying to determine should they keep you or not. And I know that sounds crazy, but sometimes they trying to figure it out and they trying to see how bad your situation is. So they want to observe you first before they actually admit you. So that's that's what they do. And then when you submit your paperwork and we look at your paperwork, it's going to say observation on your paperwork. And then I heard it all the time. It don't matter. I was still in the hospital. I was in there for 2 days. I was in there for 3 days. But that doesn't matter. If that paperwork says observation, you are not getting paid. It will get denied because you were not admitted as an inpatient per the policy language. We have to go by the policy language. Not no he say whatever is written specifically in that policy is what the examiners have to go by. That's the part that I want people to take away mostly because that's the most important part. We read the language, the policy language is what determines the payout. And I just want to, if you found this presentation helpful, I really appreciate you if you gently tap the like button. It helps this information reach more people who may not realize how their coverage works. And if you're interested in learning more, be sure to watch my next videos where I'll be talking about other supplemental products as well. And I will be making another one explaining how there's another hospital insurance, and this one is sold through banks and credit unions, and it works completely different from the employer sponsored hospital indemnity coverage. So there are two types, and because there are the banks and the credit unions, they do sell it as well, but it works totally different, and you'll be surprised. Um, all right, so stay tuned. Until again, thank you for watching Cherie Explains. Have a good day, y'all.